Hey guys, just thought I'd come to you and show you today. I'm taking a little break from clearing the field off over there a little bit today. I'm having some issues with my joints, and so I'm just gonna walk off from it for a spell, not a long spell, but just to rest a minute. I thought I'd show you a good winter's day meal, and you might can hear something in the background. Right here, we have some smoked hog jowls. I'm frying them out and get the grease off of them. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a minute. Over on the stove, let's walk over there a minute. Okay, right here, I need to turn this fan on. Apologize for that noise. I need to cut that down too. But we have 2 slices of fat pack. And I'm going to do something with that too. Once I get that rendered out. My grandpa always called that sawmill turkey. Some people would make sawmill gravy out of it too. Makes good gravy. Now in here we've got some Great Northerns. Just got these on. And I've got that cast iron skillet over there. Gonna make a cake of cornbread in that a little later on. So once I get all this together, I'll come back and show you what we're working on here. So this is just the introduction. See you in a few minutes, guys. Okay, now I'm fixing to cook some greens. I'll show them to you here in a minute, but I like to put just a little bit of onion in here. Probably need to cut this down. Now, if you're against using a pork product, you can substitute that by putting some olive oil, or, you know, I guess you could use canola oil, vegetable oil in place of that if you wanted to. I'm going to put these in here to start with, or they're stout. Okay. This is some kale that we were blessed with over the weekend, and I have washed and drained it. I'm going to add that to it. I'm going to put just a little bit of water in here. Not much. And I'm going to put the lid on this and let this kind of steam down. Clean my mess up. Let that steam for just a few minutes and I'll turn it. And in the meantime, I'm going over here. I want to check my fat back in the other pan. Guys, this weight right here is a neat little tool for frying bacon, hamburgers, anything. I like that little press. We bought that, or I bought it to give it to my wife for a Christmas present several years ago. Okay guys, this is a jar of my sauerkraut, but it's not the kraut that we've got working off. It's still working off, by the way. This is some we did back last spring. I like to put it in here, take it off the stove to put it in there. Because it splatters grease so bad. But here again, you don't really have to put anything in this. If you want to eat it, I guess you could eat it at room temperature. You could put, if you wanted a little oil, you could put it in there. You could heat it up as it is. I just like the seasoning of the fat back, but you don't have to do that if you choose not to. And you can see when I can this, I put just a little bit of red pepper in mine. This is good eating right here, guys. Yeah, it's good eating. Better check that again. Oh man, I'm gonna get started. That's it. All right, let's go check our kale. Oh yeah. All right, this is wilted down pretty good, so I'm gonna cut the heat down. And I want this just to simmer. Just let this simmer for, I don't know, 30 minutes or 30 to 45 minutes. And it should be done after that. So anyway, I'll get back with you then. Okay guys, show you something else. I'm going to make some what we call iced tea. Now this pot, there's roughly maybe 2-3 cups of water in here. I don't know, close to it. It's just beginning to boil. I'm taking it off right there. I do not want it to boil. And I started with cold water too. And I'm going to put my tea bags. These are 4 family size tea bags. I'm going to show you how we make tea here in the South. And I will let these steep for exactly 5 minutes. Actually, they may go over just by a few seconds, but it won't matter. And once that 5 minutes is up, be back and I'll show you the rest. Alright guys, here we go. Now this is steeped for 5 minutes. And we're going to pour this right in here like this. And I take my spoon, try to squeeze out all the tea that I can out of those tea bags. Okay. Stir that around and make sure that tea dissolves, the sugar dissolves. And this is a 1-gallon container. but we're not going to fill it to the 1 gallon mark. Finish this water jug off. I'm going to go just a tad over 3 quarts of water. Now, if you wanted to make a full gallon of tea, if I was desperate on doing that, I'm going to stop right there. That's about where I'll stop it off at. But if I was going to make a full gallon by volume, I would put an extra tea bag just to get the strength like I like it. I like my tea like I do my coffee. I want it to actually walk around just a tad bit. If I want hot water, I just boil water. Alright, now we'll move on. Alright guys, I've got in here making our cornbread now. Got 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 cup of plain flour. That is plain cornmeal too, by the way. This is yellow cornmeal. 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 cup of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm mixing this together. These are my dry ingredients. And I'm going to put 1 egg in here. I had a subscriber to tell me that I'd be better off to beat my egg before I add it into my batter. So I've started to try to do that. Now, let me shake this up. Need buttermilk. It calls for 2 cups. I'm not putting 2 cups. I'm going to go with 1 cup. And I'm going to mix that in with that egg. We're going to pour that in there. Then, I like to stretch things out, so we're going to go with 1 cup of water. And this is, we get this at our grocery store. It's called Moss. I believe it is MOSS. It's been a pretty good little cornmeal. If you like plain, we like it. I think it's milled here in North Carolina. Thing is, all we can find is yellow cornmeal that's plain. All the white is self-rising. But I'm going to mix this up. This is kind of a runny batter. And in the oven, I've got it preheating to 350 degrees. And I'm going to get my whisk. Got the oven preheating, and inside the oven I have my cast iron frying pan, and I've got roughly a good tablespoon of coconut oil in there. And what I want to do, I want to coat that pan with it. I may have to add just a little bit more. Use that whisk, that kind of beats some of those lumps out. Alright, that's about the consistency I like to make my batter for cornbread. Everybody has their own unique way to do cornbread. Now here we don't add any sugar to it. Some you can do that. You know, that depends on what you like. Okay guys, you can see there I want to coat that pan with that coconut oil, and the remainder I'm going to pour right in here. I don't want a lot of oil in it, I want some, but not a lot. We're going to try to blend that in as best as we can. Now remember, this is hot, so be careful. All right. Okay, I'm going to put this in the oven. Probably take about 30 minutes, give or take a little. Alright guys, I'll be back when it's done. Alright guys, as soon as my beans get done, we got cornbread, we got some homemade chow chow, we got some onions, sauerkraut, and we got our kale. So that's a good winter's day country meal. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you from Little NC Farmer.